Hi everyone, my name is Scott and I'm going to be doing a different kind of box opening for the Transformers trading card game from WOTC Wave 5, Titanmasters Attack. So in general, people just kind of race through and open everything when they're doing the box openings, and I like to do mine a little bit differently, so I thought I'd just share that with everybody. So the way that I tend to do it is, instead of racing through and opening everything all at once, I like to play matches of 2-pack turbo when I'm doing this. And so that was what I was going to showcase tonight, was just sort of starting opening the box, doing the turbo, and then was going to upload more videos later with the rest of the box opening using turbo, and then probably also upload some videos of me building sealed pools out of the box, and then maybe doing some sort of limited constructed out of the box. So with that, let's go ahead and get started and see what we got. Alright. Well, alright, that's a good start. I got Wind Charger, the super rare, in the first pack. And then Beachcomber's Stratagem. Yeah, nice. And then we got Crankcase for the second card, and Gears' Stratagem. Alright, so for anybody watching this who's not familiar with 2-pack turbo, most of it's in the name. So you open 2 packs, you play with those 2 packs. There was a little bit of a deviation in it in Wave 3 and Wave 4, War for Cybertron Siege 1 and 2, due to the fact that you would end up with 4 characters a lot of the time because of the Micromasters and Battlemasters. With Titanmasters Attack, it's back to the whole just open the packs and you play with the character that you got and you fight with them. So you open the 2 packs, you play with the character cards that you got. You know, if you have stratagems that'll work, you can use that. Obviously with these 2 packs, these stratagems won't work because we don't have Gears and we don't have Beachcomber. And then the way I like to do it is that I randomly, I don't look at the battle cards before I play, so it's kind of another layer of surprise that as you're playing you find out what battle cards you got. So, and I think in this set the only star card is Lucky Dodge. Once I get into the other 2 packs I'll explain that. I don't tend to play with sleeves for turbo. Obviously once I'm done with this I'll definitely sleeve up Wind Charger and probably other cards as well. But you know, I got the playmat out, so they're somewhat protected, and then there's not much point in sleeving up battle cards because, you know, with 12 of them, it's just not that many. So yeah, so you just play with the characters and the battle cards that you got. So it's just kind of a fun way to explore some of the cards you might not really use for constructed or sealed a lot of the time, and this way you're getting a feel for everything that you get in your box. Obviously, if you've got tons and tons of boxes to open, might not be a method for you, but you know. Alright, so we got Megatron, and then we got his canonical head, Doom Shot. That's pretty fun. So, an Optimus Prime with Quake's head, Chasm. Megatron and Optimus. Alright. So yeah, I guess since I am kind of setting this up for people who might be new to the game, that is one of the things is that in Titanmasters Attack they introduced Titanmasters. Back in the day, you know, those were referred to as Headmasters, but with the Titans Return toy line, they sort of rechristened them as Titanmasters, and Target Masters and Power Masters got kind of rolled into that. So, you know, you had Transformers that could turn into heads, into engines, into weapons, and all that's kind of been rolled. A lot of that's been rolled into Titanmasters here, but then also some of the Target Masters have also been turned into Battle Masters, and then you got new Battle Masters as well. So it's kind of, given the age of the property, there's a whole bunch of kind of convoluted, confusing things going on. Alright, so like I said, you just play with the characters that you got, everything that's workable. You play with all 12 battle cards. I don't like to look at them. So then the next thing that you do is you add up the star counts for the two teams. Alright, so over here we got Crankcase and Windcharger at 14. Most likely they're going to go first. So whichever team has fewer stars goes first. Over here we've got 11 on Megatron, 12 on Prime, so that's 23. 26 with Doomshot, and 30 with Chasm. So an interesting thing about this is that, you know, you can have these star counts that are way higher. You couldn't really do that as easily in Wave 3 and Wave 4 just because of, you know, having to pick and choose one big character and one little character. Alright, so 14 to 30. So then the team with the higher star count has to take the difference in stars in damage. So 14 over here, 30 over here, so I've got to distribute 16 damage between Prime and Megatron. $16. Alright. I think we're just going to make it nice and even and put 8 and 8. But then because of that, the lower star count team gets to go first. So, Prime Megatron team draws their card. Crankcase and Windcharger draw 2 cards for the first turn. So now, in case you haven't played before, you don't get to play any cards on your first turn. You can still, so normally on a turn you can do 3 different things. You can flip one of your characters from one mode to another mode, so all the cards are double-sided. So, you know, Crankcase has a bot mode side and an alt mode side. You can play an action and you can play an upgrade. I just so happen to have an action and an upgrade in hand. But like I said, the first turn, the first player can't play any cards from hand unless they have an ability on a character that lets them cheat it out. But we're not going to do that. I think we will flip Crankcase for turn, and then we're going to send Windcharger into... I think we're going to go into Prime. So Windcharger's got a cool ability where he gets +3 attack on the first turn of the game when he attacks. So he's attacking for 7. You flip 2 battle cards basic on attack, and then your opponent flips 2 battle cards on defense. So if you're attacking, you add up any oranges that gets added to the attack total. So we have no oranges, so Windcharger's swinging for 7. But different colored pips do different color things. So we have a black pip here, so that means that Windcharger is attacking for Pierce 1. And Pierce means that that much damage is unblockable by the opponent unless there's a card that says otherwise. So if I attack Prime with 7 attack, Prime defends for 7, I would still get to put 1 damage through because I flipped 1 black pip. So, but that's not what we got. We got 7 coming in from Windcharger. Prime flipped, has 2 defense basically, flips another 2. Oh, shoot. I can't actually do that. Sorry, I missed that. Because of the head, I have to attack into Megatron, so he has Brave. So the only thing that changes is just that I have to look at Megatron's defense. So Wind Charger's swinging in for 7, Megatron's blocking for 5. So Megatron will take 2 damage, goes up to 10 total damage, so he's got 5 health left. So then these cards get discarded when it's done. Alright, so now it's this team's turn, so I draw a card. Nice. So I got Tripwire and Belligerence. Alright, so now the second player again can flip their characters from bot mode to alt mode, or flip one character. And then they can also play 1 card on their first turn. So let's see. That's pretty good. Prime's got good attack. Prime's got really good attack. So we will flip Prime. And then we can't. Okay, so we could do that. I'm gonna do some quick math. So Prime's at 8 attack. Wind Charger's got 11 health. I don't think we can kill Wind Charger this turn, especially since we don't know what's in the deck. So we're gonna play Tripwire to do 1 damage to Wind Charger. And then if the opponent has 5 stars or fewer, tap it, or the character that you targeted with it. Well, Wind Charger has 7 stars, so he doesn't get tapped. Now another important thing to note is that when you play an action card, it sort of sits in limbo until the very end of your turn, and it doesn't get scrapped until the end when you also scrap the cards that you flipped. So yeah, alright, so we flipped, we played our 1 action card that we could play, so now we're going to attack with Prime into Wind Charger. So again, you flip 2 cards on the attack, then your opponent flips 2 on defense. Oh man, got some good cards coming in. Alright, so Prime has 6 plus 2 from the head is 8. He's coming in for Pierce 1 because it's Black Pip. But that's it. So 8. Wind Charger flipped 2 cards, but neither of these actually adds to defense. He did flip a blue here, but because it's got that plane icon, it only adds to defense if it's flipped when a plane is defending. So Wind Charger's got 1 to Prime's 8. Wind Charger takes 7. Goes up to 8. So 6. And 2 is 8. But he's still alive. So now, nothing new over here. So now that action card scraps, those scrap. Alright. But so now a really cool thing is that you can actually swap out any card with a green pip, 1 card with a green pip after the battle. So I could swap out a card from my hand to take the Spymaster's Ruse. But because I currently don't have a secret action in hand, I don't think I want to do that. And this card's going to be really good in this format because I'm going to have a whole bunch of different colors. So I'm going to leave it. There. Alright. So now we draw for turn. Yeah, look at that. Okay. Alright. Yeah. I'm going to do that. I'm going to flip Wind Charger. I'm going to draw a card. Okay. So he's got more defense. So now I could plan a card. But I'm not going to. think... Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to play this emergency repair patch onto Wind Charger. When you put this on an autopot, repair 1 damage from it. So he'll go down to 7. And then it's an armor, so it adds to his defense. So he's now got 3 defense in that mode. So hopefully we can keep Wind Charger around a little bit longer. And then we're just going to attack. I think we're just going to attack with Crankcase. Yeah. We're just going to attack with Crankcase. For 5, we have to go into Optimus. So you have to attack tapped characters. So even though Megatron has the Brave, that normally would mean that I had to attack into him, he's not tapped, so I have to attack Prime. So 5, Pierce 3, not bad. So Prime flips his defense cards. No help there. Prime's got 1 defense. Crankcase is coming in for 5, so Prime will take 4. So he goes up to 12. He's got 4 more health left. Alright. No greens on either side. Alright. So now it's this player's turn again. Alright. We actually forgot to trigger on Prime, but since it's past that point, we'll leave it. So when he attacked, I could have repaired a damage off of either him or Megatron. Still learning the new cards in this set. I might get him. Alright. So I'm going to flip Megatron. So when I flip to this mode, he gets +2 attack until end of turn. So he's now attacking for 7. Yeah, I should be able to get him. I apologize if this is a little bit off. Looking at the footage, I realized that my camera had shut off after about 15 minutes of filming, so I missed Sealed. I missed a bit of the first match of Sealed. So I'm doing my best to recreate where it was. So the point where it shut off was that the team on the right with Megatron and Optimus, it was their turn. They had drawn for turn, and so their hand was Belligerence and Sharpened Talons. And so Megatron had Sharpened Talons played onto him to give him +2 for attack. He had been in tank mode, but was flipped to bot mode, which gave him +2 attack, and then played Belligerence, which means that any blue that either side flips is +1, becomes an orange. So it adds to attack for the attacking side and reduces the defense, or doesn't add to defense on the defending side. And then Megatron attacked into Wind Charger to try and get Wind Charger off the board. Megatron attacks, flips his 2 cards, and he flips a blue and a double orange. But remember, because of that Belligerence, it just becomes an orange anyway. Wind Charger defends for 1, 2, and then reshuffled. Megatron was flipped this turn to give him +2. He had Sharpened Talons played on him this turn to give him an additional +2, so that brings him up to 9. And this player played Belligerence, so that every blue for the attacker adds +1 to the attack. For the defender, the blues also count as oranges, so they don't add to defense. So Megatron, again, has 7, 9, and then he flipped a double orange, which brings him up to 10, 11, and he flipped a blue, but because of Belligerence, that's now counted as an orange, so Megatron's attacking for 12. Wind Charger's defending for 3 with his armor. Flips 1, 2, he flipped a white, so he flips 2 more. But again, blues count as oranges even on defense. So he's still only blocking the 3. Megatron's attacking for 12. 12 minus 3 is 9. Windcharger only needed 5. I'm sorry, Windcharger only needed 4 to be KO'd. So Windcharger gets knocked out. And this all goes to the scrap. Everybody resets. This also scraps. That's just diligence. And now the Optimus Megatron player also doesn't have a hand because they used up all of their cards for that round. So again, this is an attempt to provide some linking video to show the parts that were not recorded because the camera, I didn't realize the time frame at which the camera would shut off. It's now Crankcase's turn. Crankcase draws for turn and he draws the card Lock on Target. So then only 4 cards in hand, so need more cards to get Crankcase's power up. So we flip Crankcase to draw an additional card. We get Spymaster's Ruse, but we don't have any secret actions to play, so we can't play it. So we also have to attack into Megatron because he has Brave. So knowing that, well, it's the only upgrade we have. So we're going to play Spiked Bracelet. And we want to try and knock out Megatron. He's got 5 health left. So we need to do a good bit of damage to him. We've only got 4 attack in this mode. So of the cards in our hand, we could play Tripwire to deal 1 damage to one of the 2, but it won't tap them down, so that doesn't really help us that much. We could play Master of Metallicano. The character, when it attacks, it gets +1 for each different color among battle icons that you flip, but because we don't have any bold from our upgrades or from our character, we're not that likely to do that much. And I think our only white icon card is in the discard pile. So, so of the actions that we have, it seems like Lock on Target is our best option because it gives us that bold 4. So there's more of a chance of flipping more orange to do more damage or more black to guarantee that damage goes through on a Megatron. So Crankcase goes ahead and attacks into Megatron, starts the flips Cammy and Crash, flips Enhanced Power Cell, but then has to shuffle. The card that ends up being on top is Emergency Repair Patch. And then the video continues from there. So we flip one more, so that was the 2 for the attack. So that's the 4 for the bold, so now we flip one more. And now, because we ran out of cards, technically we should flip one more card because of the white, but because we ran out of cards, that's all we've got. So, unfortunately, we got 4. We don't get any damage added on, but we have 4 Pierce 4 because we flipped a ton of black. So we're swinging into Megatron for 4. He's at 10. So, I mean, it doesn't really matter what Megatron flips, he's going to take the damage, but it's still not enough to KO him. So, poor Crankcase is just going to get slaughtered. Yeah, so Megatron would have 2 defense, but again, because we flipped a ton of black pips, all of Crankcase's attack is unblockable. So he swings in for 4. So the thing is that the black pips only count you can only have as much pierce as you have attack. So if we had gotten Crankcase's attack up higher, he would have gotten up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pierce. But because he only has 4 attack, he just gets 4 pierce. So Megatron takes 4, so put him at 14. So he is 2 away from, or 1 away from death, but that means then that Crankcase is outnumbered and both characters get to attack into him. Yeah. So that scraps, that scraps. That's the hand for that player. That goes into the discard pile. This player had no hand, so we will draw. Alright. See what we want to do. So if I flip him to this mode, when this defends and you flip at least 1 orange, do 1 damage to the attacker after the battle. So that's pretty good, but I think even without his flip bonus, he's swinging in for 7. And he'd be a little bit lower on the other side. And we don't really need the defense as much because we got 2 characters with still a ton of health left going after 1 character with 11 total health. So I think what we're going to do instead is we're going to flip Optimus. When you flip to this mode, draw a card. Alright, so we drew a card. Then if you have fewer cards in hand than your opponent, draw another card. Alright. So we get 2 cards. Because, yeah. So at the time we had 2 cards, the opponent has 3 cards, so we get that. So we got Handheld Blaster, Belligerence, and Energon Mace. So, as strange as this is, because Megatron's already got the Sharpened Talons on him, we're going to put an Energon Mace onto Optimus Prime. So it doesn't say put on Decepticons only, even though it's a purple Decepticon card. So it only gives him +2, because we're going to be attacking a Decepticon. But that still helps. And then, just for the heck of it, we got it again, so we're just going to play Belligerence again. So now all oranges for this team add to attack. For this team, all blues are now orange for both sides. Alright, so we'll swing with Optimus first, who's swinging for 5, 6, 7 from the head, 9 with the mace. So 10, 11. So remember that blue is now an orange because of Belligerence. So he's swinging in for 11. Oop, we should have reshuffled already. You're supposed to reshuffle just as soon as you run out of cards. As soon as your deck runs out of cards, you reshuffle. One, 2. Now he does have tough 2. Because of the spike bracelet, 2, and then white, so he flips another 2. But remember, all of these blues count as orange. So this would even, if he was a plain defending, this would count as an orange. But again, doesn't really matter. So he gets 0 additional from that. So Prime is attacking again for 5, 7, 9, 10, 11. Crankcase has 2 defense, Crankcase takes 9 damage. So he's still alive for the moment. Alright, so now, we haven't had this before, but so now that Crankcase is outnumbered by these 2, what happens is these all kind of stay in limbo, in play. So we can stick them next to the action for this side. And then you keep attacking, because this side is tapped out, you keep attacking until you're tapped out. So Megatron gets to swing into Crankcase 2. So, and now Megatron's swinging for 5, for 7 with his weapon phase. Ooh, Temporal Quagmire. So 8, because again, Belligerence is still in effect until the end of the turn. So 8, Crankcase flips 1, 2, And now he can't flip anymore. He's now done flipping, even though he has the tough 2, because all of these cards are still in limbo. And so Crankcase doesn't get any plus on the defense from that, so he's only blocking 2 of Megatron's 8, takes 6, and dies. So the Headmaster team wins. So you can see that, you know, one of the things about this format is that it can be pretty swingy, because, you know, you open 2 7-star characters versus, you know, a 12-star and an 11-star, and then plus their heads. That this team had a lot more going for it, even with all the damage that you put on it to begin with. But it's a pretty fun format. You know, it's pretty fun to see these cards come up. So what the rares that I got were, I got a Master of Metallicato, a Spymaster's Ruse, both of which are really strong. Got a lot of really good commons and uncommons. You know, the other thing is you don't get to see all of the cards. Oh, sorry, these go over here. You don't get to see all of the cards playing this way. There's one sort of disadvantage of it. They don't all get used. But yeah, Belligerence and Energon Mace, both good cards. I don't think I realized that Belligerence was until the end of turn, so that if you had multiple characters that were attacking, that it still did all that. Oh yeah, should be. But yeah, so, and then if you're not familiar, so you kind of see with these body ones, you saw how the heads kind of fit on here, but the heads are actually tiny little characters. So if Crankcase had succeeded in knocking out Megatron, Doomshot would have popped off. And so you would have had a little 3 attack, 3 health character, 0 defense character with Brave on it that would be on the field. And one thing that's really cool about that is that so imagine the scenario that Crankcase was attacking into Megatron, killed Megatron with Doomshot on there, the body dies, the head pops off and is immediately untapped. So if, for instance, Windcharger had still been alive and untapped, now that Doomshot's untapped, instead of Windcharger getting to attack right after Crankcase, Doomshot then gets to have a turn before Windcharger can then attack. So it just adds a whole new dynamic to the game that you got to kind of keep in mind. You know, when are the heads going to pop off, and how do you do the tap-untap shenanigans playing it. But yeah, so that's the first 4 packs of my box. So I got 26 more packs to go. And then, like I said, I will probably go ahead and do some sealed and then probably do some constructed using the cards in the box. Probably maybe pulling from my wider pool to just kind of supplement and to make some of the cards usable that don't really work right outside of the set. A lot of the stratagems aren't very effective using just the cards from this set because there aren't very many star cards in this set. So you got to really pull from the other pool. And I've got cards from Wave 1 through 4 and a lot of the promo stuff as well. So I got a wider pool that I can pull from to kind of do that. But yeah, it's fun to just kind of play with all the stuff that you get in the box, and then, you know, pushing this sort of stuff to really explore the new cards and see the utility of the new cards, and then just only really bringing in the outside cards if you need to supplement. It's really a nice way to immerse yourself in it. Alright, so that's the first 4 packs. So I'll be back with even more packs. And if you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. Thanks. Catch you in the next one.